So as we dive into our mini Hereford show, or our AOB show on this side, they bring three pretty nice ones to us to start the day. And I do think there's some give and take in these top two, and I'm not going to completely get on a soapbox about it. But honestly, as you kind of compare these back and forth, you've kind of got to make some decisions on what you're the most comfortable with. I think this heifer we lead off with just ties a little higher out of the top of her shoulder and probably gives you a little more elegant look up through that front 1/3 for sure. She ties back into a nice body. I'd like to change this one just a scotch in her hip and a scotch in the way she goes to the ground, and I think that's probably getting pretty picky on one that gives you a really nice look from this side. We dive into the second hole there and that second place heifer, and again, I think this one probably just gives up some look out of that front 1/3 and probably a little bit of bone work. She probably gives you a shot more body, and I'm not so sure she's not a little more genuine right there in her hip, but I think if you kind of take into consideration the amount of foot and bone she gives up over that one ahead of her, and then that look as well, I think that's just a really logical place for her to go. I think that's a unique breeding piece going forward. And I don't want to take anything away from the heifer that goes out in third, because that thing is long and extended, and she's built real nice and gives you a really nice, genuine look, and does have nice feet and legs underneath her. Nice class to start the day.
Well, good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to the sale preview for the Iowa Main Anjou Group. This is the 47th annual sale here at the Iowa Beef Expo. These cattle will sell tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the annex. We are going to start off our preview with Lot 1. Coming in is Opperman Simplify. He's a November of 2021 purebred Main Anjou bull. He's black scurred, sired by KBS Simplify 22C, back out of Man Opperman's middleman Sis ET. This bull had an actual birth weight of 81 pounds and adjusting weaning weight at 808.
We jump into our second class of mini Herefords here, and hold on just a second. Let me pick this up. Oh gosh, got a lot going on. Got a lot going on here. Hey, I think there's a pretty nice pair of heifers here in this class, and it's kind of too bad that there's only the two, because I think you could kind of go back and forth and make some decisions one way or the other. But I'm going to start with the one that just gives you a little more length of body and probably ties up out of that front 1/3 just a little better. I think both these have enough body in the center portion, and I think they both put that together pretty nice. When you set them in motion, they both kind of get out and go. I think the heifer that leads the class probably just gives you a little shot of bone and extension and length over the one that's going to come in second. Really nice female that follows her here, and I think this one's got good big time parts, and I think she'll put those together. She probably ties into her hip just a scotch better. She just gives up some body and some length, and maybe the way she comes out of that head into that shoulder and ties that into her neck. But pair of nice heifers for our second class of the day.
Okay, next coming in the main preview, we have Lot 2. This is Opperman's Right Step 203J. He's a December of 2021 3/4 blood Maine Anjou bull. He's black scurred and sired by Opperman's Single Step 818F out of Oppie's Black Betty 411A, a daughter of SLC Sooner 101M. This bull's actual birth weight was 75 pounds with an adjusted weaning weight of 910. Again, this is Lot 2 in our Maine Anjou sale. Okay, coming in next is Lot 3, Opperman Stock Fund 212K. He's a January 5th of 2022, half-blood Maine Anjou. He's black and smooth polled, sired by XR Stock Fund 9097B. His dam is Oppie's Whitney 936W. She's a direct daughter of Oppie's Ali. Brought to us by Jim Opperman and family from Manning, Iowa. This bull's actual birth weight was 85 pounds with an adjusted weaning weight of 830. Again, this is Lot 3, Opperman Stock Fund.
Back on the mini Hereford side of the ring here, guys, we've got a single entry, and I think this one does a lot of good things. This one's big backed and stout built. She comes to the ground with a big foot. She ties that in together with a really nice smooth shoulder, and then when she sets that in motion, she kind of pulls it all together and does good things when she gets out and goes. I think this is a really nice female in a single entry class.
Coming in next is Lot 4, Mr. Garth Vader 103K. He's a January of 2022 half-blood Maine bull. He's black and polled, sired by BOE Garth. His dam is Miss Miranda. She is a Monopoly by Whiskey Harrietta. He is brought to us by Peyton Fuss of Oxford Junction, Iowa. This bull's actual birth weight was 80 pounds. Again, this is Lot 4. Okay, coming in next is Lot 5, KGDA 206K. He's a February of 2022 3/8 Maine Anjou bull. He's black and scurred, sired by GCC Masterpiece 421G. His dam is KGDA 782E, a daughter of Stockbroker. Lot 5 is brought to us by Danker Farms of Avoca, Iowa. His actual birth weight was 86 pounds with an adjusted weaning of 827. Again, this is Lot 5.
Well, back here we get our females out of each individual class back out here to pick a champion female, I believe, and I think it's kind of neat to see them back out here. And I know the numbers were not huge, but I think the quality through all the females we had kind of put themselves where they needed to be, and so we get them back out here. It's easy to look through them. It's easy to talk through them. I think there's one that's really logical for me. The heifer out of the first class is going to be your champion heifer. We'll bring that second out of that class back in and put her right and take another look.
Coming in next is Lot 6, Romig Simplify Rusty 81K. He is a March of 2022 3/4 blood main Anjou bull. He's black and scurred. He is sired by KBSC Simplify 22C. Dam is Crom Romig's Miss Shelby, a daughter of Affliction 1Z. This bull, Lot 6, is consigned by Colleen Romig of Edgewood, Iowa. His actual birth weight was 79 pounds. Again, this is Lot 6.
That first class I thought was really close, actually, as we kind of got him out here, and I said there was some give and take. And I think as we get that one back into the lineup, I don't think my mind has changed. I still think that's a really close pair. Heifer that was second out of that first class, she's going to go ahead and be reserve.
Okay, coming in the ring now is Lot 7, Romig Simplify Shell 79K. It's a March 19th of 2022 half-blood main Anjou bull. Is black and polled, sired by KBSC Simplify 22C. This bull's dam is Romig Slider Shelley 1F, sired by WWSC Slider. Again, Lot 7 is brought to you by Colleen Romig of Edgewood, Iowa. His actual birth weight was 84 pounds. Again, Lot 7. Coming in next is BPC Captain America 26K. He's a March of 2022 purebred main Anjou bull. He's black and horned. He is sired by BSC Freedom 147F. His dam is BSC Bombshell, a direct daughter of GVC Sioux 01W. It's brought to you by the Van Vliet family of Otley, Iowa. Lot 8's actual birth weight was 90 pounds.
On this side, we've got a single entry steer class, and for anybody setting ringside that's here to buy a project for their kids moving forward or is going to come tomorrow for that reason, I think this is a really logical place to be. This thing's feet and legs are good. He's got some shape in his back and his hip. He ties it into his shoulder and out it through his head and all that together really nicely, and I think this will be a nice project for somebody going forward. Nice steer. He'll be your champion steer. I told her I wouldn't screw this up. By gosh, I got it right.
Next in is Lot 9, BSC Kane, 9001K. He's a March 26th of 2022 5/8 main Anjou bull. He's black and polled, sired by Men Live Action 203Y. His dam is Weiss Reba 1G, a direct daughter of Plum Creek Refresh. Lot 9's actual birth weight was 74 pounds with an adjusted weaning weight. Brought to you by Kennedy Exelden from Northwood, Iowa. Again, Lot 9. Coming in next is Lot 10, BBC Berry 21K. It's a February 28th of 2022 purebred main Anjou bull. He's black and polled, sired by BSC Freedom 147F. Lot 10's dam is BPF Princess, a direct daughter of Goat I-80. It's consigned by Blueprint Cattle Company of Otley, Iowa. Lot 10's actual birth weight is 89 pounds.
Back over here on the mini side, another single entry class. And again, you know, I've kind of starting to sound like a broken record just a little bit, but this guy kind of ties it all together. He's got some shape, he's got some back, he's got some hip, he puts it down on a nice leg, he ties that shoulder into that neck and that headset. I think this is a really neat breeding piece going forward if you need to kick out and create some of these females that are maybe just a shot more elegant and that sort of thing. So I think this is a really nice place to be. Nice calf.
Back on the main preview, next in is lot 11, K20 Bull. His date of birth is March 29th of 2022. He's a 3/8 main Anjou bull. He's black and polled, sired by Daddy's Money 55Z. His dam is F99 Miss Style and Grace, a direct daughter of Silvera Style. Lot 11 is brought to us by Mason Cattle Company of Kelly, Iowa. He had an actual birth weight of 80 pounds. Again, lot 11. And in next is lot 12, BOE Pecos. He's a March 3rd of 2022 5/8 main Anjou bull. He's black and scurred. He is sired by BOE Epic. His dam is Berkeley, a direct daughter of Men's Showcase 39Z. Lot 12 is consigned by Blueprint Cattle Company of Otley, Iowa. He had an actual birth weight of 90 pounds and adjusted weaning weight at 6'10". Again, lot 12. Coming in next is lot 13, SDD Kelly. She's a February of 2022 3/8 maintainer female. She's black and polled, sired by BBR FX May We All 6D. Her dam is CMAC 032H, a direct daughter of Coburn Primo. She is brought to you by Doug and Diana Simpson of Nevada, Iowa. She had an actual birth weight of 75 pounds. Again, this is lot 13. Next in is lot 14, BSC Cali 12K. She's a February 23rd of 2022. She's a half-blood main Anjou female. She's black and polled. She's sired by Silvera Style 9303. Her dam is BSC Holly 12H. She's a Holly is a daughter of Men Live Action. Lot 14 is brought to you by Braun Show Cattle of Northwood, Iowa. Lot 14.
Pair of bulls here on the miniature side, and I think there's probably some give and take, and you can kind of go back and forth in your mind. I think the one I'm going to start with probably is just a little more elegant built. It's a little tough to get a genuine read off either one of them on their structure. I think they're both good enough in their structure, and I think they both get out and go, and I think as they would relax or you take them off the halter, I don't think that'd bother you near as bad. But this thing's just good and big and square up top. He carries that down into that hip nice. He's got some center body. He ties that into a nice head and neck and a nice feature out of there, and I do like the way he just kind of squares up there at his hips. And I think he probably sets down a little bigger foot than the one right behind him. If you're looking for the one that looks like more like a turnout bull necessarily, I guess I would say this thing's just probably not as pretty and elegant right up there out of his head. He probably gets a little rounder in that hip structure, but honestly, if you're going to take one home to breed cows with and is going to go out and be able to get around and do a lot of good things for you that way, I think this is a really nice bull to follow. So nice pair of bulls.
Our next female in our main Anjou preview is lot 15, WYF Paisley 49K. She's an April 4th of 2022 half-blood main female. She's black and polled, sired by Daddy's Money. Her dam is ASTN Victoria 4091H, and her dam is a daughter of Plum Creek Paradox. Lot 15 is brought to us by Quinn Whaley of Eagle Grove, Iowa. Just like to remind everyone, these animals will sell tomorrow in the Iowa Main Anjou sale at 1 p.m. in the North Annex. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Bo Ebersole at 515-971-8461 or Brian Whaley at 515-689-4929. Again, these animals will sell tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the annex. We'd like to remind everyone as well of the Iowa Main Ange Banquet this evening at 6 p.m. in the Iowa State Fair 4-H building.
We get into these bigger bulls on this side, and honestly, if you're setting ringside and these two bulls are parked, I think they get really, really close. I think they both give you some dimension. They both give you some parts and pieces that you really like. It's when you set them in motion that they kind of separate themselves for me. The bull that I lead off with that stands in the front here, this thing, when he goes in motion, he's just a lot more comfortable everywhere. He's more comfortable in his spine. He's more comfortable on his legs. He's more comfortable in the way he puts all that together, and I think that's probably what takes him to the top in this class, honestly. The second bull probably actually gives you a shot more power and actual true dimension when you kind of get in behind him, and he's probably a little square right there at the top of his hip. But when he goes in motion, he just wants to get up in his spine. He gets a little more uncomfortable on his feet. Now, I am going to say for anybody setting ringside that's looking for a turnout bull, I think this bull actually, as he goes out and gets away and gets off the halter, and I think that thing he'll probably kind of loosen up and do good things that way. Nice pair of bulls, just had to kind of separate them in my mind. As we get our three class winners back out here, and you kind of start to sort through them and spend a little time on what your preferences are, and to each and everybody setting ringside, I mean, I think that's probably, some of these are going to have parts and pieces that are going to work into each and every one of your programs, and I think that's the glory of why we kind of parade them out here and give everybody a chance to kind of look through them. And we have some difference in ages for sure, and so you kind of got to go through the guesswork of which one you think kind of develops in to the best breeding piece for you. And my job is to kind of sort through these and kind of pick them today, and so I'm just going to kind of tell you what I'm seeing out here. I'm going to start with the young man up front, and as I look at that, at his calf, I think that thing's got good parts and good pieces. His feet and legs are good. His hip and hip structure and body structure is very good, and he ties that into a nice head and shoulder and neck, and I like a lot of things about him there. And our young lady that came out of the second class, I think this one probably's got good parts. He's good and square. He's square everywhere in the way he's built. He puts that down on a good big foot, and when he gets out and goes, I don't want to take anything away from him. He might get up in his spine just a little bit, but again, he's fighting that halter just a scotch, and so I'm going to sure give him the benefit of the doubt there that I think this one gets out and goes really well. At the ground itself. Our big bull, like I said, this class separated itself just surely on structure, and when he's parked there, he's a big, good looking, mature built one, and I think this one's got a lot of longevity when he goes to the pasture, and I think he's the one with the least amount of guesswork in him today. And so as I kind of have to sort through these things and take into consideration each of the parts and pieces and the good things and the bad in each, as I stand here, I'm still kind of back and forth in my mind, but I think I'm going to start with the big bull. He'll be your champion bull. I think there's just less guesswork left in that bull, and I think he's got enough good parts and enough good to him that that's the most logical place for me to start. I mentioned in that class that those pair of bulls, when they got parked, they were probably pretty close. Again, when you set him in motion, I just wasn't completely confident in the way he handled his spine. And I'm sure not beating up a good, nice built, mature bull with a lot of body and a lot of hip. But honestly, for me, the most logical place to go from here is to kind of study these two young bulls and kind of decide which parts and pieces I like of these two the best. And frankly, today, the one that strikes me as the one that's going to go on and have the most future is honestly the young bull out of the first class.
At this time, we would like to recognize our champion AOB heifer, Lot 3, RHH Mocha, consigned by Rolling Hills Cattle. Reserve AOB heifer was Lot 4, RHH Sandy, also consigned by Rolling Hills Cattle. Our champion AOB steer is Lot 7, CX3 Champs Ford 150, consigned by Christensen Cattle Company. Our champion AOB bull was Lot 13, TF Bouncing Tigger, consigned by Thomas Farms Custom Cattle. And our reserve champion bull was Lot 8, RJTNT Charlie 522, consigned by Ronnie and Janice Clemish. At this time, we are parading our Solaire raffle heifer, KJS Cow Maker, consigned by Waveland Farms. Tickets can be bought for $10. Contact Jeannie Edwards to purchase the ticket. We would also like to recognize our consigners for the miniature Hereford sale and AOB sale. Ronnie and Janice Clemish, Christensen Cattle Company, Rolling Hills Cattle Company, Thomas Farms Custom Cattle, Fade Genetics, and the Solaire heifer once again.
So our young man, I don't want to startle her, he brings to us This is the raffle heifer. So this is the Solaire raffle heifer. He has donated this heifer, and all the proceeds from the raffle go to the juniors. And so it's a pretty neat program. And I think with that, he donated a pretty high quality female. And this thing's got lots and lots of good parts, and she'll go on to make somebody a great project. She's got some shape. She's got good hip structure. All that ties together. She ties up nice out of the top of her shoulder for her breed, and where her head kind of connects there. And when she gets her ears forward and looks out across there, she gives you a really nice look. She's good, long spined, and all that's put together in a pretty elegant package. So I think somebody should give this man a round of applause for donating a pretty high quality female that'll go on to do good things for some junior. And so that's pretty admirable.
Would the Mini Hereford champion and reserves please head over to the backdrop?
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start the critiques for the Iowa Beef Expo 4-H and FFA judging contest. And so we're going to kind of talk this direction. If you're on this side, you can obviously hear me, but we're going to kind of talk them this direction. And just to kind of get you through things, first off, I do want to say thank you while I have a captive audience. Thank you to Mallory and Mallory's whole crew. It takes a lot of people to make this go. They did a great job. Let's give them a big round of applause for their involvement in this. Also, all the providers of cattle, I don't have the list with me right now, but I do know that JVM Cattle Company brought the South Devon bulls from off the grounds, and I do know that Gilman Shorthorns brought the Shorthorn bulls also from off the grounds, two classes that made good sense and really worked well. I thought that those were great classes, and so thank you to those two. Everything else, with the exception of a pair of maintainer heifers, was from here in the sale and on the grounds. I thought everything fell together. I think that's a testament to the sale quality that is in the barn there, and so make sure you check those out. Like I said, everything with the exception of the Shorthorns, the South Devons, and a pair of maintainer heifers were from the sale, and so I think that's a real source of pride for the Iowa Beef Expo. As far as things go, we're gonna go briefly through all these classes. I've got kind of a mix of former Iowa State livestock judging team members that are going to come through and talk about them and just give you the official placings in the cuts. And so we're going to go through them numerically and by class 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll make sure you get the officials and the cuts. To talk the Shorthorn bulls, Class 1 Shorthorn bulls is Shane Duffy. Shane come to us from Sumner, Iowa, was a 4-year student at Iowa